Waay team learned plans to potentially fix Alabama's broken pardon and parole system may die in the Senate. An activist sent the I-team this email. It says the Senate plans to let SB 42 die without it going to the Senate floor for a vote. It continued with the passage of SB 42 is in danger of failure.
Leaders of the Parole Board called the bill bad for the state and urged its workers to fight against it. All of this started when the Waay team uncovered the board repeatedly failed to follow its own guidelines, and for the first time, the chair of the Parole Board went on camera with our very own Waay 31's Breken Terry and explained why she thinks her employees are doing a good job and change is not needed.
The Attorney General has never pointed me to a reason why why is he better able to judge what we have time to do and what we don't than I am?
Lyn Head is defiant. She's the best person to lead Alabama's Pardon and Parole Board. Governor Kay Ivey promoted Head to chair late last year to shake up the board after a series of mistakes, punctuated by Head and two other members letting a career criminal serving a life sentence out on parole. Jimmy Spencer is now charged with killing 3 people in Marshall County.
Given his background, there was no way to predict that he would do this. There really wasn't.
To predict that Jimmy Spencer wouldn't do this?
Right.
But there was. Spencer spent more than 30 years in prison, escaped at least 3 times, and repeatedly got into trouble for attacking guards and other inmates.
And so y'all had seen all of Spencer's disciplinaries leading up to him being paroled?
Yes.
And why did y'all still decide to parole him?
I did not specifically vote to parole him, so I can't really comment.
Head didn't vote for or against Spencer's parole and repeatedly told me she doesn't remember why. She also mentioned Spencer's prison violations dropped as he got older. Head's adamant nobody showed up to speak against his parole, but admits the board never told Spencer's victim. And the district attorney in Franklin County insists he didn't know either. Head questions that claim.
Our file says he got notice. So, you know, whether he didn't see it, whether it got lost in the mail, you know, nobody can say that. Our file says that we sent him notice.
Lawmakers want to make sure notification is sent and received. They also want to stop early parole for violent offenders and see better relationships between the board and victims' families.
The Attorney General obviously came out and now they're introducing this legislation. Why is the Pardon and Parole Board against this legislation at this time?
While there are actually some very good parts to the legislation, the codification of our policies, that really has no effect on us. I mean, because we're going to follow our policies anyway.
But the Waay 31 team uncovered the Board of Pardon and Paroles didn't follow its policies in the Spencer case. Errors range from misclassifying Spencer as a nonviolent offender to failing to notify his victim and Spencer's parole officer taking weeks to respond when police in Sardis arrested him on drug charges.
I just think that because of the incident with Spencer and the coinciding of that incident with those mistakes made in the early consideration, that those circumstances have just highlighted the negative perception of our agency as a whole. You know, our agency is never going to make popular decisions. We're releasing people from prison who've done, in some cases, seriously bad things.
It's why Head, Marshall, and the state activist group for victims are so focused on the Spencer case. Plus, how much oversight of the parole board is needed and who should be responsible.
We're a legislative agency, and so that executive order, we actually were asked, a lawyer actually called me and said, does she have the authority to order your agency to do anything? And I said, legally, no.
Waay 31's Breken Terry live in Lauderdale County now. Breken, the sponsor of the Senate bill, wants it heard on the floor this week. Is that going to happen?
That's probably not going to happen. Senator Cam Ward is the sponsor of that bill, and right now lawmakers are only meeting 3 days a week. As a matter of fact, the Senate actually just got into session at 3:30 today, so that only leaves Wednesday and Thursday for this bill to be heard. But I also called Pro Tem Del Marcia's office today and spoke with them about Senate Bill 42. They said that it hasn't even been assigned a committee yet, and once it is assigned a committee, then makes it through the Senate committee, then it will be up to senators to decide on the calendar for that timeline, and then it could basically run out of time in this session for this bill to actually be voted on. Guys?
Thank you, Breken. And you can see all of our previous reporting on the case on our website, waytv.com, and just click on the I-Team tab.
In the